out in the peaks. Go out at gate. So a very fine drizzle, but as I say, it's supposed to be clearing up. We'll see how we go. I'll just make it up as I go along. It's first post-COVID walk as well, so I want to sort of get out somewhere and see if it's had any detrimental effect on me. Because you hear all these horror stories, this long COVID lark, and people can't walk up steps and so on. So I did run a mile on treadmill the other day without too much hassle, so I'm hoping I've got away with it. So I've parked there, lay by, room for about 6-7 cars at the end of Cloddall Lane. So where we're going, as I say, I'm just making it up as I go along, see how I feel as we progress. I've got best part of the day to play, so the initial plan, just coming up to Gardoms Edge, so I'll have a wander along there and just cut off to there's a standing stone in the woods, so I might just have a nip to that, then back onto the edge, carry on to the end, to the 3 men cairns, then break off along the side of a field complex, pick up the 4,000-year-old rock art, and then over to Birchen Edge, and then there's just loop round past the Robin Hood. I'll continue down through that wood and up onto Baslow. As I say, all this is make it up as I go along. As I get to a certain junction, I'll decide from there. Just drizzling a little bit, but it's also quite warm, so it's like a neat coat on, I suppose, at the moment, but heating up quite quickly. That's the first section of Gardoms Edge. Coming from there's a little section, then it's divided and then it carries on, but just when you get to this first sort of wall, there's a gate off to your left. So if you want to go to the standing stone, go through the gate. It's probably about 100 metres in. Now you can then carry on from there to the rock art, as in a straight line to it from that section, but then you're missing the rest of Gardoms Edge. So what I generally do is I'll go over to the standing stone, then come back, continue, and then loop back to the rock art before I go over to Birchen's. And then you're not sort of missing the rest of this edge out. There's a nice little pinnacle per se, but like an offset standout rock, which makes for a decent sort of photo op or drone, etc. Like a pagan thing. There used to be settlements and everything in all this sort of neck of woods, and there's usually like coins and things stuck in this rock somewhere, little trinkets, bit of a random set of grooves in it, which I presume aren't natural and probably point at something, who knows. No trinkets. There's usually stuff sort of in them little cups, but not today. So that's that, and there's the wall, and the gate I've come in is just sort of there, so just backtrack now, and then I'll come in from the other side to the rock art over that side. Came in that direction through the gate to the stone back, and now carry on. Stopped raining as well, so de-layered. There's your little pinnacle, but it's a huge platform. Just sort of dropped outside there. You just have to get on there. That's a little bit of a cambered overhang. You just have to sort of shuffle up onto. It's very underused, this ridge, to be fair. There's you rarely see anybody on it, or not very many at all. And a couple of climbers occasionally, but other than that, very few folk. Just that, but you have to sort of do an arse shuffle onto it. not the most dignified of ways on, but it gets you there. As I say, it's just through that silver birch forest basically along the edge, and that's your lot. And just come down here, there's a wall coming up and 3 cairns, I think called the Three Men. Chatsworth is just around there, just around the valley. So this is not a bad location if they're doing a flyby like Lancaster or Red Arrows or that sort of thing. If there's a show on and there's an air show coming up, where they do the thing, then this is not a bad place to come. You avoid all the miles of traffic to get into there. You get up here, you've got a decent overview because it's literally just the other side of there, so they all come around here and whatever. So there's your 3 little cairns, which is your three men, I believe it's called, 3 old men, 3 men, something like that. And there's a gate here through the wall. Well, if you carry on, it just about another 200 metres comes to a junction, and you go left, it'll take you down to the road and down to Robin Hood. We're going over this wall here, along the wall a little bit, and then cut back into the wood to pick up the rock art, or you can carry on along the side of there and it brings you out to the same place basically, which is up at Birchen's Edge. So there's Wellington Monument up there and 3 ships. So we're going to go up there eventually, but we're going to go this way first, up over that, down, past the Robin Hood and then back up there. But then we're going to carry on, or I can bug out and just intersect where I am now and back along the edge. That's not the plan at the minute, but obviously weather and so on has improved dramatically from what it were this morning. So hopefully it stays like it is now, in which case I will continue and then drop down there and up through that wood to Baslow Edge. So I'll say, first of all, over this bit of stile, along the side of the wall in the wood, and then we're going to break into the wood a couple 100 metres to get to the rock art. Right, to get to the rock art, I'm about 104 metres. So along the wall, I can just see the wall just sticking out the ground up yonder, but that's 100 metres away, so I'm just over 100 from the wall, along this wall. When you get to a tree on the right hand side, all the rest of the trees are on your left basically. So the first tree you come to on your right, you'll see the path splits. If you stay on that path along the wall, it again brings you out over towards the trig point for Birchens. We're going up there, but we're just going to take this left fork. Alright, so 100 metres over the stile, first tree on the right, path forks, take the left fork. I'll pace it in and see how far we are from here. 4,000-year-old rock art. Now there is a little bit of a story to this, but I'll leave that for if you come and find it yourself. Basically, if you stand on one of the adjacent rocks and then stand on the rock, you'll feel the difference, which is a bit weird when you first come and you don't know what the story is. Like, what's going on here? The standing stone I went to earlier is through the woods over there. So the road's over yonder, we came over the other side of that tree line, came through that gate. The side I can't quite see it, it's just over the rise, but it's only what, 150 metres that way. We went back out again along the ridge, over at the three men cairns at that thing, 100 metres in, and then we've just come 150 metres, 160 metres from that fork to get to the rock art. So I say, now if you go along that path, we'll bring you out to the standing stone and back to the gate, so you can sort of bug out this way and carry on. We're gonna, when I leave here, gonna go along this bit of a path. Now it's all down. In summer this bracken is like 5 foot high and whatever, so you just have to meander, but there's a sort of path what meanders through and it brings you out. That other path goes along the side of the wall there where I did the split. If you carry on, it just goes along there and they both converge up yonder, and then you go up to the trig point on Birchens. I say in summer this gets quite overgrown, but you can sort of see where it's been watered this time of year is no problem. It's the intersection. So I'll say if we not took the path to the rock art and then down here, we'd have stayed on this path down the side of the wall. Well, this is going to take us up around that big rock, and then we'll intersect the cross path, and we're going to cross it and carry on up. So just a little short sharp incline, and the trig points just at the top of this little bit of a gully. One trig point, and just here, if any of you have been to Norway or know of it, there's quite a famous photo what people take. It's called the Kajak Boulder in the south of Norway. It's about 700 meters above the fjord, and there's a big rock what's wedged between them. It's an epic place. I mean, I've been to Norway, but I've not been to that section yet. That's on the to-do list. But this is the Peak District's version of the Kajak Boulder. Still hurts if you fall off it, like, but not quite 700 meters down to the bottom of the fjord. Three ships: Victory, Defiance, Royal Sovereign. So I've just had a cup of tea, and of course it started spitting, so I thought, right, well, while I've got bag off, I might as well get coat on. Thinking it's going to be a gamble, because if I layer up again, the sun's going to come out. Whereas if I don't and stay in t-shirt, then it'll rain. So of course, put the coat back on and sun comes out straight away. So I'll leave it on for the time being and give it 10 minutes and then delayer again. Nobody out though. Saw a couple when I first got out at car this morning, but they were all sort of heading back towards the road. But that's in nobody on Gardoms, nobody on the transition, nobody at all on Birchen's. Delayered again. That's effectively the end of the Birchen Edge high path. So I just got to drop down quite a steep embankment to intersect the lower path, and then we go left down to the road to the Robin Hood. Now then, this is another one been cut. Normally you go down all this rocky thing here, but it looks like they've either made a new path or it's been done with increased footfall, because this never used to be here. That's it, that's the road bit done. Up there is the Nelson Monument and 3 ships, so that's where we're half an hour ago I guess. So I walked along that ridge down around the Robin Hood here, and now we're on this bit of access land. Of course, back in t-shirt. and it's raining heavier than it were when I coated up. This is the intersection. If you turn up this wall, just follow it up there 150 metres, intersects them 3 men cairns and over to the rock out, so you can come at it that way from the Robin Hood, up past this rock outcrop, through the gate, turn right up there to the wall, over the wall, and then to it that way. So if I wanted to bug out now, that's the way I would go, and that would take me a second back onto Gardoms Edge, back across there. I'm going to carry on down here. This basically drops. It intersects that road coming from the roundabout, across the road, down through a bit of a grotto kind of area, up through the woods, and brings you out onto Baslow Edge. It's stopped raining again now, so we're near enough. Or got some under the tree line maybe. Not feeling it, but I didn't bother putting coat back on. Close to the road, you can certainly hear it. That sign always wakes you up. Meander up through this wood. It breaks left along the wall up the top, and then drops you out to the south end of Baslow Edge. There is a cut up here, and normally I'd just go that way, but as I say, I'm just post-COVID. So I want to sort of test myself a little bit and see what state I'm in when I get to the top of it. So I'm going to go that way and see how I fare. Well, I did it in one. That's at Monument. Sit and have a minute, a cup of tea, get my breath back. Island cows up there, so they are knocking around up here. Normally they hang about down that end, but they can be anywhere. To Wellington Monument. And what we have here is the Eagle Stone. Apparently back in the day, if you wanted to marry a local lass, you have to climb this to show your abilities, I guess, or whatever. So we've got Chatsworth Estate down there, Chatsworth House and River. So what I've done is there's Gardoms Edge, over through that wood to the rock art, up to Birchen Edge, which is the Three Ships and Nelson's, around to the road, back over the top on that end, through this woodland, down to the road there, back up through this wood. Now I would have, if I'd have carried on along the fence line when I was on the sort of levelled out path, it would have took me down here about 100 and so metres to them trees maybe, and then it'd intersect this path on the drop, and then we'd have walked back up here. But I just cut up the side, just here somewhere, and went back to the Wellington Monument, then over to the Eagle Stone, and now just come back, and now that's it. So I'm now going to go back. If you carry on down there, it takes you back down into Baslow village. I'm going to go up onto the edge, follow me all the way around there, and then it'll intersect this path at the far end. So there's 2 Highland cows. Well, there's normally a good herd of them, so I'm not sure where the rest are, but they could be anywhere really on this section. They came from down there, so maybe we'll be able to see them from the edge if there's any more knocking about. Also, just off of that path, I've just come onto the edge here, but just off that path what drops, there's a bit of an inlet with like a bit of a quarried area. Now, if you know what you're looking for, which I don't, but I have been shown them before years ago, but I don't know where to look now. But somewhere in these rocks is a load of fossils, sea creatures from back in the day. So worth a look if you're into that sort of thing. There you go, below us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Highland cattle down there. Baslow Edge. Bit blowy. Basically the end of Baslow Edge. If I turn back that way, there's the edge path I've just gone on. That takes you back to the Eagle Stone where I sort of came off there, turned left and then round. This is that path what would have come this way. Kerber Gap paint display. Up there and follow the wall around, push onto Kerber Edge. There's the oldie signpost, and basically there's 9 of these dotted, well there's probably more of the signposts, but where there's one of them, there's one of them. So near one of these is a companion stone. I think there's about 9 dotted around. There's one here, one on White Edge, 2 on Big Moor, 1 over at Beeley, various places really, 2 in Longshore Estate. But usually, as I say, if you find one of them, there'll be something like that, and if you find one of them, there'll be something like this. Somewhere in there, yeah, you can see carvings, but it's all eroded. So there's the, when you find these things, there's a website on the side, www.companionstone.org.uk, and there's usually a poem or something on engraved into them. Cars end of that road at the crossroads there, just on that vertical run up. There's another one of these companion stones just on the end of that field complex. There's a path what takes you up to the Memorial Wellington Monument thing. One of them companion stones down at the bottom of there. I've not been this way for a while. They were working on this staircase last time I came, which was a few years ago. They've obviously continued it through. This always just be a fun section. Getting over this bit of a stream. And they've obviously resolved that issue. Might as well go to the trig point. But yeah, either between Kerber, Frogger and White Edge, or over between White Edge and Big Moor, you get all the stags and deer. Right, White Edge Trig Point. Looks like the weather's coming in, it's coming this way, so we're going to have a quick cup of tea, but I'll hit the trig point. It's just started spitting, but it looks like it's coming in, so I'll have to see if I can get back to the car before it gets here proper. Layered up again, because it is kind of raining still. It's not fast, but it is wet. Like rain is, as a rule. So, but it looks like it's coming in a bit more. It's a bit blowy up here as well, so I'll leave coat on for now. Probably right back to the car now. Faffing about, it's all sort of level and then downhill. So we shall see how it goes. Probably about 1.5 miles. Thereabouts. Back to the mountain. Right, back at the junction, so that's White Edge Trig Point, and that up there I came across here, Baslow Edge, to Kerber car park, then across this thing here, and I went up there to the trig. Whereas now we're back at this point, so I'm going to meander back, touch down basically to that corner, which is where the car is, at that crossroads. Don't know if you'll see them on GoPro, but there's a herd of about 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 20 deer just there. Just having to look up, oh Jesus. Could have been interesting if I'd have walked into them, like, but you're scoping me out. Just the end of that trail, just hitting the road through this gate, and then just down at crossroads, and there's car behind that tree up there in the lay-by. There we was back. 4 hours 5 minutes, 9.13 miles.